Huh?
So I think we're gonna start.
Oh yeah, we're good.
I got this up here for her bio.
And you heard that Myra said we're just flipping script. We're
Yeah,
gonna
she's
go to
not
the
here.
graduates.
Yeah.
While she's, okay.
So I'll introduce you.
Pardon me?
So I'll introduce you instead of her.
Yes. So you're going to introduce Father Kevin. I was going to say, I can barely turn myself. All right, I'm sorry. All right, and I'm looking forward to tonight. And that's a Zoom, right?
All right, good morning, everybody. I think we're going to get started here. Welcome to the 50th anniversary, 50th?
59.
59th anniversary, almost 60th anniversary of our Community Restoration Luncheon. Opportunity, hope, restoration. Three very powerful words. And, I am here because of what this organization does and because of the stories and the graduates that you're going to hear from later. Let me introduce myself. I'm Steve Spriester from KSAT 12. Let's see, this is the 59th. I think I've done 58 of them. No, I do host this luncheon every once in a while. And it's because who among us hasn't needed another chance? Another opportunity. And we've all been touched by addiction, by the justice system, by someone needing that second chance. I want to say I do anchor the news at KSAT 12. Thank you. That's why you're my favorite, I'm glad to see somebody is taking the role of Helen Austin, because she would be saying woo-woo if she was here. Am I right? I just remember her from early on and what a great presence she was in this organization and in this room and in this community. Okay, I get off track here. But anyway, I anchor the news at KSAT 12. I don't usually wear my glasses, but I have been over the past few weeks because I've been having some eye difficulties. And the funny thing is when you work on TV, people notice everything. Everything. And they want to comment on my glasses. And then in November, I usually grow a beard. And that's when the comments really come out. I get an email from a lady saying 2 words, shave it. Some of them are nice, but one particularly hurt me this year when a woman said, I don't like your beard, it reminds me of Ted Cruz's. That hit me hard. Most of them I reply, thank you for your input. That one I just replied, ouch. But my favorite has always been the woman who wrote me and said, Steve, I know you're growing this beard for a great cause, but I don't like men in beards, even though Jesus had one. That was my favorite one right there. So bear with me as I take my glasses on and off, today, and I really appreciate you all being here. And it has been quite a year. Last year when we did this, I stood at the altar at the church at the summit, and we talked, and it just wasn't the same. Just didn't have the same energy, didn't have the same friendly faces that I see. Some of you who have your masks on, I'm imagining you're smiling widely right now and laughing at every lame joke I tell. So to be even in this hybrid situation where we have friends who are watching on YouTube and we have people that are in this room, just thank you so much for being here. And a round of applause for Crosspoint and all the organizations that have gone through. Some of you might remember that the theme for 2021 for Crosspoint was Women Rising from Trauma. The theme fits perfectly with the progress made by Crosspoint on the new Women's Wellness Campus. I don't know if you saw the renderings that are out there in the lobby. It is impressive. The campus brought up at last year's luncheon, but thanks to the partnership with the UT Health School of Nursing, the representatives right there in the middle. Yes. And the 19-member volunteer visioning committee, campus design, service plan development now complete. And like I said, you can see the renderings as you come in. It's amazing. Crosspoint purchased the 3.4-acre property for the WWC on July 28th and an additional 0.4-acre property next to the campus in December. The extra property will actually provide a street front view of the campus. It's going to serve to further open up the campus courtyard and while making the campus administration office easily accessible to the street. So they're going to have a front door. In keeping the theme of women rising from trauma, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention author, advocate, and attorney Brittany K. Barnett. She was the perfect keynote speaker for our 2021 Leadership Symposium. From personal experience, Ms. Barnett told the audience what it was like to be the child of a woman in prison, coping with addiction, while still doing her best to be a mom. Crosspoint and UT Health School of Nursing also established a partnership with West Care Inc. to open supportive housing for Casa Mia moms and children upon discharge. And Casa Mia, another one of the Crosspoint success stories. Absolutely. Yeah. Crosspoint began the process to become a trauma-informed care accredited agency. And finally, you're going to get to meet some of the 2022 board of directors coming up and officers, some very special staff members, and 8 amazing Crosspoint graduates. I want to mention the people who are at our head table or will soon be at our head table. First, one of my personal favorites, I only get to see him like maybe once a year at this, but I feel a bond with him, Father Kevin Faust. Thank you for being here, Father. Representative Ina Minjarez is our keynote speaker. She will be here shortly. Bobby Joe Dale III, the Chief of Staff and General Counsel, is also going to be here shortly. Dr. Kevin Downey, Crosspoint's President and CEO. Sister Gabriella Lohan, the Goldsmith Award winner. Sister Gabriella. And Sister Rita Neeland, also with us. Thank you, Sister, for being here. I also want to mention some of the dignitaries that are here or will shortly be here. He is the District Attorney for Bexar County, Mr. Joe Gonzalez. The Honorable Joe Gonzalez is with us. Judge Stephanie Boyd is also here. I believe I saw her. There you are. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for being here. The Honorable Ron Ronhell. There he is. Good to see you, Ron. Thank you for your leadership during a big part of the pandemic and making decisions for what trials would happen, what wouldn't happen at the courthouse, and keeping that process safe. I really, that's a personal thing from me to you. I appreciate all that you've done. Round of applause for Judge Ronhell, please. The Honorable Mary Roman is also with us, and if I missed anybody, let me know. Thank you for being here with us, Judge. If I missed anybody, let me know, and we'll be sure to remedy that situation. Right now, I want to bring up Father Faust to give us our invocation before lunch.
Let us bow our heads in prayer. God of life and love, we come together on this beautiful day to celebrate and to give thanks for the gift that Crosspoint is, for the many individuals that it serves, and for the San Antonio community. We ask that you continue to bless their work, lifting up individuals, recognizing their dignity, and helping them to be restored to a fullness of life with their families, friends, and society. Continue to send companions willing to work and to support Crosspoint and its works, its administration, staff, and all those that Crosspoint serves. Through our collaboration with one another, we strive to fulfill the gospel command to love one another. Bless our time together. Bless the food that we are about to receive. May it nourish us and strengthen us to serve you and your holy people. Amen.
Thank you, Father. And they're going to go ahead and serve lunch as we continue with the program. And I've said it before, this is a program that helps the homeless, helps the formerly incarcerated become productive members of our community again. I mean, the work that is being done at Crosspoint is truly something to be proud of. And it's one of those organizations that I am very happy that they ask me to come back every year and be part of this, and as my way of saying thank you to Crosspoint for what you do. Right now, I want to introduce the president and CEO of Crosspoint, a man who has been instrumental in growing the vision and the mission of this organization, Dr. Kevin Downey.
Thank you, Steve, for serving as MC the last 5 decades. So I'm calling an audible here today. We normally would be hearing from our keynote speaker now, but as Representative Minharas is just on her way in, we're going to move on to the graduates of the year. And, pardon me, I want to share that there are 8 graduates of the year from all of our various programs. 5 of them are here today because of issues related to COVID and work scheduling. 3 of the graduates could not make it. But for those of you who have not been here before, a couple of things. You can follow along with the stories in the program. They are there. But I read the stories because this event is also on YouTube. If I didn't read the stories, our friends on YouTube would not know what the heck I'm talking about. So I'm going to walk through the 8. And the 5 graduates that are here, if you could come up and patiently stand here while I get through the stories, because we're going to do a photo with everybody, and we're going to hear from one of the graduates tell a little bit about themselves. So here we go. The first graduate of the year is Bianca Velasquez from the Summit, our reentry program. Miss Bianca Velasquez entered the Crosspoint Justice and Restoration Services in June of 2019 after serving a sentence of over 50 months in prison. She transferred from Bryan FPC, and upon entering our residential reentry program, she pursued her dream of attending barber school and applied to the Alamo City Barber College. However, due to circumstances beyond her control, she was unable to attend, but that did not stop her from moving forward with her dream. Ms. Velasquez was ultimately hired at Mac's Barbershop on August 22, 2019. She remained employed there throughout her stay at Crosspoint, and she, at the completion of her program on October 28, 2019, she had completed all of her program goals and in a relatively short period of time was able to accomplish this. Ms. Velasquez continues to be successful, which is reflected in her being released from federal supervision earlier than required, and she benefited from having a very supportive family and significant other. Not only has Ms. Velasquez maintained employment in the cosmetology field, she has taken her talents to the next level and has started her own business, which is a goal she expressed when she was with us in the program. Her positive attitude and focused mindset continues to serve her well. We honor Ms. Velasquez for her perseverance, her strength, and her commitment to change. So, Ms. Velasquez, would you please come up and so the audience can see who you are? I would appreciate it.
Right.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
If you can just bear with us for a while I get through the stories. Our next graduate of the year is Lamont DeKeith Burgess. He was at the male reentry program at the summit. Mr. Burgess was admitted to Crosspoint Residential Reentry Program on July 19, 2019, after serving a 13-year prison sentence. He completed his 9-month stay without any incident, and he completed all program goals. This can only be attributed to his positive mindset and the strong support system that surrounded him. Mr. DeKeith secured employment within 1 week of admission at the Dollar General warehouse and has continuously maintained employment while on federal supervision. He has been an active participant in the Community Treatment Services Program for substance use and completed all requirements there without fail. While in the program, he secured his commercial driver's license, which provided him with the skills and credentials needed to obtain his current employment as an 18-wheel driver. Mr. Burgess has been ordained by Cleft of the Rock Church. He is working on an outreach program and is currently working to secure the necessary approvals to participate in prison ministry. Mr. Burgess recently purchased a vehicle, and according to his U.S. probation officer, he is doing exceptionally well. His USPO further said that Mr. Burgess being named as a graduate of the year is a well-deserved honor. Congratulations, Mr. Burgess. I was going to say, we could take lessons from that. Congratulations. All right. The next graduate of the year is Tomas Gonzalez from our Veterans Program. Yay, Tomas. Mr. Gonzalez is the 2021 Veterans Program Graduate of the Year. He is a Navy veteran who resided at the summit through the COVID pandemic. The necessary changes to our client movement protocol to reduce COVID spread presented obstacles to Mr. Gonzalez and all of our residents. Mr. Gonzalez worked as best he could to achieve his goals, even with the restrictions the new protocols presented. He resided in our Veterans Program for a little over a year. In that time, he was able to address health issues and secure employment that he truly enjoys. Not only did Mr. Gonzalez use his time to work on himself, he was always willing to help out with other things that needed to be done at the Veterans Wing. Since leaving Crosspoint, Mr. Gonzalez has moved into his own place and still works as a COVID screener. He was recently recognized there for his dedication to the job for not missing a single day. Congratulations, Mr. Gonzalez. I should have provided you all with chairs. I'm sorry. Next up, we have James Jimmy LaPont from the Austin Cullum Outpatient Center. Mr. Jimmy LaPont was referred by the Veterans Treatment Court to the Austin Cullum Outpatient Center and was selected as Graduate of the Year. During his self-assessment, Mr. LaPont realized that he had lost control of his life and had been using alcohol as a coping mechanism. As a court participant, his dedication resulted in one of very few flawless years by a Vets Court participant with no alcohol violations, missed appointments, or missed court-mandated appearances. Mr. LaPont's spirit of service was enhanced by his time in the U.S. Air Force. He earned the rank of Chief Master Sergeant and retired after 30 years of service, with numerous decorations, including a Meritorious Service Medal. He truly appreciates life and feels blessed and wants to share these blessings with others. While participating in the Austin Cullum Outpatient Program, Mr. LaPont focused on continuing and increasing his spirit of service, but he grew to accept that he also needed to work on himself as an equal priority. He learned to turn down extra projects at work and used his additional downtime during COVID to reassess his life and realize what really mattered to him. He was able to complete pending home projects, improved communication with his brothers, and strengthened his relationship with them. Mr. LaPont feels that he met his ongoing goals of being closer to God and restoring balance in his life. As part of his strong faith, he continues to utilize positive affirmations and daily Bible readings. He remains humble and continues his life calling of stewardship. Since completing outpatient services, Mr. LaPont has focused on living a more balanced life, and which has included decreasing his work schedule. He now can invest in home projects and time to his personal goals that were previously neglected. He continues to work on those goals, including supporting the San Antonio Food Bank with regular ongoing donations, paying off his personal debts, and developing a stronger relationship for family. Let's give him our congratulations and thank him for his service.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Next up is Johnny Salas from our Behavioral Health Transitions Program. Mr. Salas could not join us today, but I'm going to read his story anyway. He arrived at Crosspoint on August 24, 2020. He had been struggling with mental health issues and an alcohol addiction that impacted his health and his way of life. While he was with our Behavioral Health Transitions Program, Mr. Salas devoted his time and energy towards recovery. He actively participated in all of his counseling sessions, and he worked on difficult issues that included his divorce and his father's death. He was enrolled in Center for Healthcare Services to help stabilize his depression. He maintained all appointments and was medication compliant. Mr. Salas found employment at O'Reilly's Auto Parts, where he worked hard at saving money to obtain a small apartment. Mr. Salas successfully discharged from Behavioral Health Transitions on December 17, 2020. Since he left the program, he has maintained his sobriety and is currently working as a service manager at Gunn Buick GMC in Selma, Texas. He moved to a bigger apartment and hopes to purchase a home in 2022 for him and his fiancée. He also built a better relationship with his ex-wife, which provided an opportunity to bond with his 15-year-old son. Mr. Salas states that he encouraged his son to pursue his dreams, tells him daily how much he loves him and how proud he is of him. Still today, Mr. Salas reports keeping the blue shirt and baggy shorts that he wore when he first arrived into our program as a reminder of where he came from and a motivation to keep moving forward. Mr. Salas expresses his appreciation for all the service he received at Behavioral Health Transitions. So he's not here, but hopefully he's watching on YouTube. Let's congratulate Mr. Salas. Next up is Miss Felipa Rocha. Miss Rocha is from Casa Mia at Pryor House. She also was unable to attend today, but she has been, was a wonderful resident and has gone on to help others in her postgraduate status. Before arriving at Casa Mia, Miss Rocha grew up in a family with substance use disorders, where family members would have her deliver drugs to them. She began using substances herself before the age of 12. At age 18, she learned she was pregnant. Her son, Jason, tested positive for substances upon birth and was consequently taken by Child Protective Services. After struggling with her substance use disorder and homelessness for several years, Ms. Rocha found Casa Mia and was admitted. During her time at Casa Mia, she developed a positive and healthy support system through recovery support groups, counseling, and peer support. Ms. Rocha led the Peer Support Council at Casa Mia. During her time on the council, she was able to help herself and other moms learn about addiction, mental health, self-care, and healthy relationships. Ms. Rocha also reunited with her son, Jason, and developed great parenting skills. After leaving Casa Mia and obtaining a stable apartment for her family, Ms. Rocha enrolled in computer skills education and is currently completing her GED. She still possesses a positive support system with recovery support and the help of her faith-based support groups. She is a shining star who continues to defy the odds. Again, she is not here, but let us go ahead and express our congratulations. And Myra won't like this, but I'm changing the order a little bit because I want the last person to be the person who's going to speak for a minute to the audience. So I'm going to skip to Cynthia Portillo. She came from the Esperanza Court, the human trafficking court. She was selected as our graduate of the year from that program. She first came to Alvarez House on August 3rd, 2020, making the transition from Bexar County courts. She was part of our program for 6 months, discharging on February 12th, 2021. In the beginning, Ms. Portillo kept to herself. However, in a short period, she began to adjust and fit in. She slowly began to open up and talk to other residents in the house. Ms. Portilla did encounter some setbacks from time to time and got herself in a jam. However, instead of letting that be a failure, she used that as learning experience moving forward. When Ms. Portilla first came to Alvarez House, she did not have a relationship with her son and had a broken one with her mother. By Christmas 2020, she received a letter from her son, and that meant the world to her, as did mending her relationship with her mother. When Ms. Portillo was approved to look for work at Christmas, she immediately jumped on it and in no time was offered employment at Popeyes. Ms. Portilla seemed to enjoy her job so much, she was offered overtime and would take it every time the courts allowed it. She saved money for her discharge, and upon her release, from Crosspoint, she moved into an Oxford home. She continues to do very well and has now been promoted at Popeyes. So, congratulations. Pardon me. So our last graduate of the year is Megan Herndon, and she was with Behavioral Health Transitions, albeit at Alvarez House. In the 18 months that Alvarez has been the home for Behavioral Health Transitions, Ms. Herndon is the resident that stands out the most. She was admitted to Alvarez House on July 28, 2020, and successfully discharged on November 21st. She was relatively young compared to our other residents, and we were concerned that this might create challenges for her. Aside from the occasional need for redirection and reminders of program rules, she proved us wrong. Ms. Herndon was a free spirit, and she loved being outdoors. She had a big heart and took it upon herself to encourage her fellow residents and try to cheer them up when they were feeling down or discouraged. We often heard Ms. Herndon tell other residents that they were beautiful, and that put a smile on their faces. Ms. Herndon responded well to staff guidance, worked the program, and became self-sufficient. She was not the kind to sit still, and as soon as she was permitted to do so, she started looking for work. Ms. Herndon quickly landed employment with Goodwill, and soon after found an apartment. With her earnings, she began to purchase items for her new home. Ms. Herndon was very proud of her accomplishments and discharged from stable housing. Ms. Herndon, if you could come forward. Ms. Herndon, you needn't run. We're going to wait for you.
I'm just nervous.
So every year we have one graduate of the year that just shares a few of their own feelings about their time here. And they aren't professional speakers, but we so appreciate the fact that they're willing to take the mic and say a little something. We are so proud of this entire group. And Ms. Herndon, if you would, come over and just say a few words, however many you want.
Thank you. I'm terribly nervous. I have horrible anxiety, so that was my hurdle with just interacting in the world, and it's still, it's lifelong. But either way, it really, Miss Prado and everyone there made me feel at home, and everyone was very kind to me, and the girls were kind to me. So it's a very wonderful experience for me. And I was sad leaving because I felt like I was leaving my family. But I wrote something because everyone there has a different story, and everyone there, some people need motivation, help to accept where they are. And people in pain, their mind is either in the past or the future. They want to run to their lost children, or run to where they want to be, or they're missing what was taken. So you're never really able to take that opportunity of a home like this to transform yourself into where you feel comfortable with where you feel your heart can rest, where you can find some healing. So not everyone there just starts on a path of healing. And that's what I would always try to talk to my friends about. And I don't know, but I think the other girl, Cynthia, I think she was my roommate. So I'm really proud of her because I would talk to her and preach to her at night. Yeah, it was super fun. She's cute. But I wrote something, and actually wrote this the other day, and I wasn't intending on speaking about it, but sometimes I write, and I thought it'd be nice, and this just happened all at once. They're like, come down. They're like, you have to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning to sign your name so that you can go to this thing. And I said, wow. So it's just in 1 week. So it's just weird how everything landed. But then I brought the wrong one. So this is my rough draft. And the ending, I do not like it at all. But either way, this is my rough draft. And everything is meant to be. So the fact that it's the rough draft, for some odd reason, that's the way God wants it. And you have to trust God. And trust is trust. And that's something to really think about. Anyways, as a traveler, it's called, I'm going to slow down. It is called As a Traveler. Okay? As a traveler, I have not been to many lands. Yet as a traveler, I have met many who have. To all they are their own, each one beautiful from the rest. Their knowing is what I seek to understand, for in them I find my home. Because knowing is love. As a traveler, I have not been to many lands, only because I have not been called so far. All the lands remain the same without the seasons, only the hearts behind the faces that are guided by our feet is where we will meet. All the places my day brings me, I am always meant to be. As a traveler, I have not been to many lands, I hope, but for you I will never stop searching. It's because we have never forgotten where we come from. As a traveler, I hope one day we will meet because this is why you're so special to me. So the ending broke off, but, and it really irritates me, but, this one was kind of more directed as if you're writing to a person, but the other, even when you leave people, you're supposed to do that. Everywhere you go, you're leaving. And that's a beautiful thing. So there's sadness comes with blessings, and the blessings is a new form of strength and identity. And your new identity is your dignity, and that is based in your what you overcome and the sadness, you know. So that's why I'm a happy person, and I think everyone should be happy because of gratitude. Okay.
Well, I think she's on her way to becoming a professional speaker. No. That's some good lines in there. So what we're going to do now, we have a certificate of achievement for each of the 5 folks that are here today. We are going to also give them a check. If we could, our board chair, Woody Halstead, is going to come forward. I was going to ask if the representative also wanted to be part of this because we're going to take a photo with all of them, but those 5 certificates there, no, sir. Just the 5 there, and then we're going to take a picture with everybody. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. You show what our faith in people can produce after they go out and are given guidance and resources. It just does my heart good, and it makes this work so worthwhile. And everybody has to leave, but it produces blessings that lead to further success. So I love that. So Representative and Woody, if you could come up and hand out certificates. And so if you take photos while they're doing it, but then we're going to do a photo of the whole group, Robert. I think everyone did you get yours? Okay. So we'd like to do a group photo if we could, and then Steve is going to do an introduction. Sorry, Representative, I'm making you get up and down. Okay, if we could squeeze it just a little bit. Okay. Robert, how is this going to work? Yep. Okay. Are you guys okay with everybody squish together? Push towards you. Reduce your breathing. Right here, guys. One, two, and one more just in case. One, two. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That's all right. Steps. Can we have another round of applause for those graduates of the year? It is now my honor to introduce the keynote speaker. I'm going to let her catch her breath here a little bit since she was up and down and up and down. So I also want to make light of a mistake that was in the program that was sent out. The program went out and it was said Representative Ida Menjarez instead of Ina Menjarez. And I was going to bring a big N and present it to you today, but I decided I wouldn't. But it was a printer mistake. We know who you are. We know. So I want to introduce her by reading just a little bit of her bio here for you. As an attorney, State Representative Ina Menjarez has fought for Texas families throughout her career. She also ran for Texas House in a special election in 2015 and won. And when we're talking about opportunity today, she made the most of that opportunity. By the end of the first full session, she was named Texas Monthly's Rookie of the Year for her methodical approach and substantive amendments that she approached. She didn't just sit there and do nothing. As part of her legislative career, Representative Mijares has successfully helped pass legislation that has shaped the foster care reform in Texas, as well as laws that have enhanced direct access to health care services and family and child welfare initiatives. Her legislative career has also been marked by her dedication to improving our public education system, fighting the opioid and substance abuse crisis, pushing for more cybersecurity infrastructure, and supporting military families, the last of which has earned her a certificate of appreciation from the Department of Defense. Representative Mijares was born and raised in El Paso. She's an alumnus of the University of Notre Dame and St. Mary's Law School. She's married to her husband, Leo Gomez, whom she has two wonderful stepchildren with, Manuel and April Gomez. In her free time, she enjoys riding her indoor bike and spending times with their dogs, Pepe and Lily. She's also running for Bexar County Judge, in case you didn't know. So please join me in welcoming Representative Ina Mijares.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to be here with all of you this afternoon, especially for such an important cause that is near and dear to my heart. My name is Ina Mijares, and I currently am the House District 124 representative. I represent the near west side of San Antonio, which includes the greater northwest neighborhoods, parts of Edgewood, as well as the Thompson and Los Jardines neighborhood associations. I'm delighted to speak with you all today because I'm so supportive of the great work being done at Crosspoint. And I am especially passionate about the mission of the Casa Mia program. Crosspoint has been a pillar of San Antonio since its creation in 1963. And our community is truly better because of the work that they do. They truly do God's work. Through partnerships with San Antonio State Hospital, Texas Department of Corrections, and the UT Health San Antonio School of Nursing, Crosspoint has proven to not only be a leader of the past, but also a leader for years to come. With such a storied past, I have no doubt that Crosspoint's innovation and dedication will continue to break down barriers for those in need in our community. In celebrating Crosspoint's past and looking towards the future, 3 themes resonate strongly with me regarding the work of Crosspoint and Casa Mia. Women are the backbone of our society. That's correct. Our children are our future, and our whole community plays a role in healing trauma. I'd like to share with you what each of these themes means to me. Women are the backbone of society. The first of these themes, women carry an enormous weight in our society. As leaders, as caretakers, as mothers, as breadwinners, as professionals, and so much more. Women make up a little more than half of our population. They are more likely to be college education graduates and have quickly surpassed men in obtaining postgraduate degrees. And 73% of mothers participate in the US workforce based on recent figures. Each of us rely on a mother every day to care for us, to feed us, to do our taxes, to check us out at the grocery store. Mothers are in all spaces, whether we realize it or not. Our society would be unable to function without women and mothers. Reflecting on all that women do for us, it is hard to believe that women are often overlooked, underpaid, and judged harshly by our society. If we can accomplish this much with the odds stacked against us, who's to say that we could do without these barriers? It has never been more clear to me as I look at this group that Crosspoint knows the immense resilience and strength held by every woman and mother they serve. A woman's strength is our strength, and their ability to rise from their trauma not only benefits them, but it benefits all of us. Children are our future. It is easy to seg women's strength into the next theme that resonated with me. In addition to the long list of things women give us that I just mentioned, what else do they give us? Our future, our children, our next generation. Casa Mia is one of the few programs that serves both mothers and their children together. The recognition of how crucial keeping a family together is something that resonates deeply with me. In my work as a former prosecutor and a state representative, I have witnessed firsthand the trauma experienced by children and families while being separated at the hands of our child welfare system. Reunification is usually a common goal for both the professionals working these difficult cases and the families living through this trauma. I have often found myself wondering if there might be a better way to address and resolve instances of child abuse and neglect, especially when you consider that so many cases of abuse and neglect can be directly or indirectly linked to poverty. In many ways, the removal of a child from a family home is done with little to no warning and causes extreme duress and trauma for both the child and family. The crises faced by our child welfare system are not the failings of individual parents and families, but of society. The health and safety of our children, regardless of their race, the neighborhood they grew up in, or the socioeconomic status of their parents, should be our highest priority. Our children might be young and vulnerable today, but they will grow up to be our leaders. We must protect them at all costs. It's not just the compassionate thing to do, it is the economical thing to do. It is the practical thing to do, and it is the right thing to do. By eliminating separation of parent and child, Casa Mia is reducing the traumatic experience for the entire family. Though it may only be a small piece of trauma prevention, its positive impact on our children and our future will be seen for years to come. Now, the role of community in healing trauma. I've spoken so far about the strength of women and of the importance of our children. The final and third theme I'd like to mention ties the previous two items into the theme for today's lunch: women rising from trauma. Trauma doesn't happen in a vacuum, and in turn, it cannot be healed in a vacuum. That's why my third point is the role of community in healing trauma. Connection to community has been scientifically proven to aid in the healing of trauma, but all too often it is overlooked and disturbed in the pursuit of healing. We have a tendency to cut ourselves off from the world when we feel the most vulnerable. We have been taught that showing vulnerability is weakness, and as a result, many who suffer from trauma have deep shame surrounding their experiences and feelings. As individuals, we must push through this inclination when we feel it. As members of the community, we need to recognize and support those who are brave enough to seek help and healing. I've spoken a lot today about women and children, but each and every one of us has a responsibility to ourselves and our communities. We are not alone in this. Our community's strengths are our strengths. I know that many of these themes are already the values you live and work for at Crosspoint and Casa Mia, but I hope that this speech has reminded you of three things: the amazing strength of the women and the mothers you serve, the hope that our children bring for future generations to come, and of the immense importance of the community you all create and cultivate. Thank you again for this incredible opportunity to speak here. I am honored to share in the celebration of Crosspoint, especially for Casa Mia, and I appreciate all that you do for our community. Thank you.
Howdy, everybody. In case you missed it earlier, I'm Woody Halstead. I have the privilege of serving as the chair of Crosspoint's board this year. And I wanted to thank Representative Mijares, Ina, for her time today. I've known Ina probably close to almost 20 years now. And when she talks to you about the passion that she has for women and children in our community, it is something that comes from her heart. She's always been that way. And so in recognition of joining us today, I'd like to present you with this token of our appreciation, as well as read the inscription, which states, "In recognition of your tireless efforts to be the voice of marginalized citizens, particularly women and children who are often the survivors of trauma." And that's presented on behalf of Crosspoint. And Kevin, if you would join us to present this to Representative Mijares.
Okay, so things are a little jumbled, but I'm going to try to get us back on track. For those of you who've noticed I'm a little unstable today, it is not a function of age. I have not been drinking either. I threw my back out and really, with the help of prayer, physical therapy, and a back brace, I am able to stand up here and look fairly normal. Otherwise, Woody would have had to take this whole thing. Before I get to our most prestigious award of the year, which is the Richard Goldsmith Volunteer Leadership Award, I want to just say a couple of words about, if you see in your program, there's an insert like this, a front and back insert. So the deaths of two of our very close friends at Crosspoint touched everyone here and really throughout the community, clearly. But I just wanted to say a couple of words. First off, in memory of Charlie Cheever, and I'm not going to read this whole thing because you have it in front of you, but those on YouTube don't have this in front of them, so I'm going to touch on a little bit of it. I first met Charlie in 2009 when his daughter Joan, who also has a heart for social justice, introduced me to him and said, "Maybe Charlie will help you run a capital campaign. We're trying to raise $2.6 million to renovate our buildings and make a significant down payment on the Sisters of the Holy Spirit convent." So I went to Charlie and I talked to him and offered him the position as co-chair, and he did accept it, but only after he gave me a hard time about my poor pitch. He said, "You're not good at this, Kevin. It's not just talking. At some point, you have to ask a question." So, but he came on. He helped us raise $2.6 million. He subsequently joined our advisory board. He and Nancy always supported our leadership symposiums, our annual luncheons. He was an amazing man to me, and on another level, we became good friends. So his passing really hurt. And I know that Charlie and Nancy, Charlie's legacy will keep going on because what he did with his treasure and his time meant a difference in the lives of so many people who graduated from Crosspoint and went on to do great things. And so Charlie's legacy will not fade quickly for us. The flip side of this is Orlando Castillo. Orlando came to us from the Esperanza Court. That guy was amazing. He always had such a great attitude. And I never knew of his challenges till like toward the end of his stay, because he joined us for community service projects. He was always out cutting up and never skipped a community service project. He was an amazing, amazing guy. He left us and went on to do volunteer and paid work to help others who are facing similar challenges. Became an educator with Cicada. He was tragically killed, run over by a car on Petranco. When he went, there was a fight between two drivers out there, and knowing Orlando, he went out there to try to break it up and was hit by a car that had nothing to do with it. So, gather my emotions here, but he was so young, but he reestablished a bond with his family. He was clean and sober to the day of his death. So, if we could just have some applause for these two wonderful people. Sister, we're getting to you. But first, just a couple of words about the Women's Wellness Campus. And Representative Manjares, thank you so much for being an active part of that visioning committee, which was chaired by our lovely friend, Sister Gabriela Lohan. So for 6 months, this group came together and designed the campus, developed the services, put everything in place. And this was a diverse group that Sister was herding cats, because we had elected officials, we had faith leaders, we had business leaders, we had service partners, we had neighbors, and it all came together. So thank you so much for playing a big role in that. And just to give you an update, we talked about this last year, but we got it zoned in December of last year. We purchased the property in July. We are going to start construction in March. We will finish the first stage of that construction, which will be the new Casa Mia, twice as large, so it'll be 40 beds for moms and babies. And our friends at UT Health, oh my God, this would not have happened without them. Could you all just stand one moment so they all know who you are? But this was going to be another transitional program, or would have just been another transitional residential support program, which is good enough of its own. But because of UT Health School of Nursing, this is going to have an integrative wellness unit that has behavioral health services, has primary health care services, has a nursery for these little babies so they don't have to be separated from their moms. It's going to have an admin building, and I talked to some community folks in Delcras yesterday and shared with them we're opening that up so they can hold their meetings there. We're going to try to hire neighbors to serve in some of the roles there. The second phase of the campus will be started immediately after the first one, and we're going to have housing for homeless veterans, for women with behavioral health issues. We're going to have housing for justice-involved women, so people either being diverted or sent to us from the courts. We'll have a total of 130 beds for moms and babies at this place. The entire thing should be completed in December 2023. We have not officially started a capital campaign yet. We will soon. One thing I'm going to say about Charlie, how appropriate we're honoring him here while we're starting this campus. So he had a health issue a while before he passed away, but I got a check in the mail at Crosspoint, a sizable check. And I called him, I said, Charlie, well, what the heck is this for? And he said, oh, that's for the Women's Wellness Campus. I said, you know, we don't have a capital campaign yet. He said, oh, I know, but I knew you were going to call me anyway, so I thought I'd beat you to the punch. So I think this is an appropriate time to recognize our service partners. West Care, who is now also going to be involved in the Women's Wellness Campus. Yay! You can stand, West Careans. So For the first time, also with the help of UT Health, we are going to now have, through WestCare, supportive housing for the moms and babies as they leave the campus. Because anybody who knows this system knows there's gaps at different points. Well, transitional care is critical for folks getting back to being restored citizens. The problem is, transitional care typically lasts about 6 months. Well, y'all know what wages are in San Antonio. If you're making $10 an hour and you have to go get a 1-bedroom apartment for the mom and the baby, and you're paying $1,200 for an apartment, that doesn't work. So, yay, UT Health and WestCare on that. I would be remiss not to talk about our other partners. Goodwill of San Antonio, you got mentioned by one of our graduates today. Also, Bexar County, Healthcare for Homeless Veterans, Southwest Texas Regional Advisory Council that is supporting our behavioral health transitions, Methodist Healthcare Ministries, University Health, Word of Faith, True Vine, and Emmanuel Church. I will also say that we just got a check for $100,000 from Baptist Health Foundation for Casa Mia operations. So, yay. When you're doing good things, a community like San Antonio has a heart. We have a compassionate city. I'm so appreciative of them coming, seeing the need for these innovative services. So I also should touch upon very quickly the people who helped today come possible. We had New Star and Gambrinus at the leadership level. We had Partners Broadway Bank. I see our Broadway representatives here. D&H, Daniel Halstead, thank you so much. Goodwill was a partner. King and Summer, attorneys. Silver Eagle Beverages, University Health, UT Health, School of Nursing. Dr. Edward Bergman, Jennifer Bly, and Rick King were all partner level contributors. Thank you. At the Friends level was Randy Walker and Company, Barbara and Michael Gentry, and the Crosspoint Operations Leadership Team. That was a mouthful. So I'm glad I got the brace so I could come up and do this, Woody, and probably some relief to you, but it's so important for me to recognize the people help us do what we do. So, to the Goldsmith Award, I know we are running out of time. Myra is going to tell me something I did wrong. Oh my gosh. That was a big miss. WestCare was a big donor to this too, so thank you over there, Beverly and company. So those of you that have been at one of these before, you know our highest award that we give in the course of a year is the Richard Goldsmith Volunteer Leadership Award. Every year, we present this to someone who represents his outstanding leadership, demonstrated as our first board president, and he's still alive and advising us. He just can't be here today. And early other founders, such as Helen Austin. Without them, tens of thousands of Crosspoint graduates would never have had the resources to address their needs, the guidance required to overcome challenges, and the resources or the opportunity to experience fully restored citizenship. This year, it gives me such great pleasure to announce this year's recipient. It's Sister Gabriella Lohan from the Sisters of the Holy Spirit. Yay, Sister G. Gabriella is one of the many sisters of the Holy Spirit, such as our own Sister Miriam, who's been a board member for quite some time, to advocate for the residents we serve and the programs we run to help them. However, Sister G has, I hope it's okay I call you Sister G, has been a volunteer extraordinaire. She has consistently helped us lead the charge for social justice and restoration of citizenship since 2009, when she and the other Sisters of the Holy Spirit were there standing side by side with us as we were faced with unrelenting opposition to purchasing their former convent. So Sister Gabriella has always provided expert assistance in setting up and carrying out essential meetings with community members, opinion leaders, public officials, and elected leaders. In 2021, as I said, she stepped up even more to serve as chair of the 19-member Women Wellness Campus. I don't know how we roped you into that. Our visioning committee, and then she was the chair of our WWC Donor Development Work Group. And she personally helped me get meetings where I couldn't get a meeting. I would call her and say, I need to get in to see so-and-so. And she said, well, what day? So, so Sister Gabriella, if you can come up here and just say a few words and we can present you with your award.
How precious it is. Since I came to the convent nearly 60 years ago, I have worked in many ministries: education, public and private, organizing, city organizing, family issues, finances, and other ministries. But the one closest to my heart is Casa Mia. It really is. Those mothers, like the representative said, Ina said, those mothers and babies, I can hardly wait to see that building. I mean, I'm with the building since the beginning of the thinking. And I can't wait to see those little mothers and those little babies, right? She's the one who knows, from West Care. She's the one who knows. Please stand up. Beverly, stand up. Yay, give Beverly a hand. And I can promise you people, especially those of you who are donating, I can promise you that I will work as hard as I possibly can to make this new endeavor a success, and to get others like myself to make it a success also. This is a place where lots of women can grow. And so make yourself at home at Casa Mia.
You have to wait a moment.
I know. I forgot.
You got to get your loot.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
For a new board president, you're marvelous. He knows to give awards right away.
Well, and allow me to read the inscription. in recognition of your indomitable spirit as reflected in your role as chair of the Women's Wellness Campus Visioning Committee, chair of the Donor Development Work Group, and the many connections you have initiated with elected officials for the Women's Wellness Campus support. I present you with this award.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. If you could help her with that. We have one more award to present, and then we're just going to do some of our staff celebration of successes. So just to keep you apprised of where we're at in the program. So every year, Crosspoint presents what's called the Compass Guidance Award. And this is for the advisory board member who has made the greatest difference in a given year. So if Charlotte Jorgensen could come up here for a photo op. Steve, could you hand me the circular award, please? I'm trying to limit my steps here. I think I've got in my max for today.
That's probably a good idea.
So Charlotte, I know it's hardly fair that you get another one of these, but she's a two-time winner of this. This says, Compass Guidance Award to Charlotte K. Jorgensen in recognition of your ongoing willingness to help Crosspoint tackle real estate matters such as running comps, lease issues, and legal agreements. I know that sounds a little dry, but oh my God, this was a big deal for us. Congratulations, Charlotte. Okay, so I'm just going to run through a few items with our staff. We have some anniversaries. If you would stand, if you're here. We have Marcela Aguilera, 5-year anniversary from Casa Mia. There she is. We have Ricky Davis, program aide at the VETS program. I didn't see Ricky here, but he's a 5-year recipient. Daniel Gutierrez Jr., he's a residential monitor at Behavioral Health Transitions, and I got a feeling some of these folks are working, so I don't think he's here. We have William Mendy, who is a 5-year recipient from the VETS program, and I know I did not see, Myra's given me like no. And Rodney Ritz, also a 5-year. At 10 years, we have Paula Nunez, if you could stand. Yay, Paula. And then I do not, not sure who this last guy is. Oh yeah, Kevin Downey. I passed my 15th year. I just actually started my 17th year as CEO. Thank you all. You may be seated. And we'll do some photos afterwards of those winners, but after we're done here. Next up, this is a big deal for us. We always do an Employee of the Year. We get nominations from across the organization. For those who don't know, Crosspoint has grown just a little bit over the years. We are up at over 100 staff members now across the districts 1 and 2. So it's a big deal that they're getting picked from that many folks. If you could stand, I'm looking at Myra, am I doing this right? So we're going to recognize each of you by name. First, we have Diana Bauman, program aide from the Veterans Program. You may stay standing. We have Tiffany Harper, and people have met her before. She was a Casa Mia graduate. She now works at the Women's Behavioral Health Transition, so she's helping other women go through the services she did. We have Kathy Pullig, who's a residential care worker at Casa Mia. We have Gloria Sanchez, who's a mental health counselor at our outpatient center. We have Anthony Villalon, RM from Behavioral Health Transitions. We have Leslie Villarreal, who's a RM from the Reentry Center. Yay! And last but not least, we have Teresa Wishard, a support staff member from admin. So Myra, I'm allowed to announce who this is? All right. So after the voting was complete, the winner of this year's Employee of the Year for the full organization of Crosspoint is Diana Bauman, if you could come forward. Whew. I should have brought all my hardware up here. So each of you, by the way, is getting a beautiful keepsake, a nice plaque, and a check. And your plaque is the same size, but your check is bigger. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to turn this over to Woody to close up the business, but as CEO, I want to thank this wonderful board of directors and our advisory board. We have a 17-member volunteer board from all different walks of life, and it's just been amazing, and I'm so happy we have our new chair here. I'm sure that Natalie Kuhn, the immediate past chair, is also so happy Woody is here. So I want to thank the board. I want to thank the entire staff of Crosspoint, the OAT leadership team, most of whom are here. Could you stand up, OAT leadership team? If I could get the board of directors and advisory board members to stand, those of you who are here, please. Finally, well, two finallys. Steve Spriester, oh my God, I don't know what we'd do without you, man. And he was our Goldsmith Leadership winner last year, so it's, I hope you still have that, haven't sold that award you got. And then finally, before you walk up, Woody, none of this would have happened without Myra Pettis Lopez, my assistant. Myra, take a bow. Without further ado, Woody Halstead.
I will start by echoing what Kevin just said. Myra is the oil that makes the gears of Crosspoint turn, so thank you for everything you do. At this time, I would like to introduce our new board members, as well as recognize our board officers for this coming year, and also recognize our retiring board members. So first, and I don't know if they're here, our new board members that will be joining Crosspoint this year are Pastor Emma Alexander. Did Pastor Emma make it? No? Captain Adolf Zuniga from the San Antonio Police Department. I think he's working today. Our new board officers for this year, our vice chair will be Yusuf Kasim. I did not see Yusuf. Our secretary is Lieutenant Colonel retired Steve Shimeon, sorry. And Steve is here. There you go. Our assistant secretary is Gilbert Mendez, and I saw Gilbert. Our treasurer this year will be Rick King. I don't think he's here. And then our assistant treasurer, I did see her, Ana Garcia. We have two board members who will be retiring this year. They have served the maximum amount of time they are allowed to serve on Crosspoint's board, but we did want to recognize them for all the contributions that they have made during their time. One is Jennifer Bly, and I don't know if Jennifer made it, and then also Reverend Dr. Raymond Bryant. And I don't think And I also get the privilege of recognizing our Master of Ceremonies. Steve Spriester, once again, his support to Crosspoint is just absolutely phenomenal and incredible. And we truly appreciate you continuing to be our Master of Ceremonies and to speak and to share Crosspoint's message to our community. And so on behalf of the board and all of Crosspoint, we have a little token of our appreciation.
You didn't have to do that. Thank you, Woody.
We are running long, so I'm going to curtail any remarks I had, but I will just encourage everybody to continue to watch what develops at Crosspoint. We have an incredible year that's coming up with the Women's Wellness Campus and its development. The programs, the outreach that we are doing truly makes an impact in our community. And the fact that you are here in person and those watching online, your support allows us to do the things that we need to do for our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Woody. Thank you. You didn't have to do it, but thank you for the gift. And thank you all for being here. And, you know, I started with the 3 words, the opportunity, restoration, hope. Carry those forward. Carry Crosspoint's vision forward and tell your friends about it, because this is a hidden secret, I think, in San Antonio that people deserve to know about. Have a great day, and thank you for being here.